everyone, so this is going to be the third video in my little series of exercises you can do before you ride. We had the pole and the PMJ in the first one, the neck and the shoulder in the second, and then this last one is going to focus along the back and the hind end. So what I like to do personally if I'm doing these exercises is start with the pole and work my way through consecutively. However, if you feel like you've got more issues in the back, in the hind end, in the neck and the shoulder, you can start on video 2, video 3, mix and match whatever you feel works best for you. So I thought I'd use Joey, who's our new boy, to show you some of these exercises. And the first exercise I'm going to do is very similar to one of the neck exercises that I showed you. So when you remember that I was doing a gentle rock from side to side of the neck, and we're just looking for that muscle to soften, for them to lower their head, but also we're looking for that kind of blink of the eye, softening of the muzzle. Maybe a change in their breathing. You might notice they take deeper breaths, maybe a couple of quick sighs. So that's what we were doing with the neck. The next one we're going to do is just coming down to the wither, and it's literally a continuation of that exercise. So what I'm really thinking about is just a really gentle rock from left to right, and just asking him to let go of any tension that he's holding in the wither. So you'll see he starts to soften his eye, and I'm looking for him to drop his head. And that just means that he's starting to release that tension through his shoulder, through his neck. And what I'm feeling in my hand is, am I really subtly just pushing his weight from front foot to front foot, from left to right. So my hand's nice and relaxed, but it's slightly curved. And I'm just pushing away from me with the palm of my hand, putting the weight onto the leg furthest away from me. And then with my fingertips, I'm just asking for a little bit of weight onto the foot nearest me. And now he's starting to shift his weight, which is good. Maybe he's letting go a little bit. And I'm just gently rocking, and I'm going to stay on the withers until I feel like he's starting to relax and let go a little bit. And underneath my hand I can feel him soften. The wiggling's getting a bit easier. Again, that shifting of the weight is good. And he's starting to let go. And you can see I've not increased my strength or how hard I'm pulling, but we're getting a lot more movement through the body, which means he's relaxing through his muscles, through the skeleton, and we're getting a nice sway from side to side. All I'm going to do is start slowly working my way further down his back. And the reason I like to start on the withers is because it's really easy to feel the vertebra there. It's a nice little handle, especially on a horse like him that's got quite a nice wither. It's easy just to put my hand over it, feel the skeleton, and then just be able to take that all the way down the back. And it's a really slow movement. I'm not kind of going as quickly as I can. Almost the slower the better, really. The slower you can go, the more release you're going to get. So I don't know if you can see there, he's really softening his eye now. And his body is starting to soften, he's starting to lower his neck. Good. And these muscles where I'm over now are kind of where the saddle sits, so they take a lot of direct pressure, but also when the horses have tension in the poll and the neck and the shoulder, these muscles almost compensate, and they take a lot of strain. If they're tight and restricted in the front end, the horse is going to start to pull themselves along with these back muscles as well. So it's really good just to check and make sure that these muscles are nice and loose and relaxed before we start riding. So especially if your horse is a little bit girthy or kind of funny about having the saddle put on, this exercise will be really nice just to check there's nothing going on directly underneath your saddle. So a little bit quicker now, but no harder. I'm still staying soft. I'm just going to work my way back up to the withers and then back down again. And just seeing, do we get more movement with the same amount of pressure? And if we do, that's good, it means he's letting go. And I don't know if you can see now I'm getting that nice sway through the body. And there he's letting go through his neck and his head. Going back up to his wither. And then what you can do as well, if you feel like they're really relaxed, come in with two hands. And now just getting a little bit more movement through there. Now he's letting go. And we're really getting a good lock. And there's a nice release. And there's a really nice release. And you can also see now he's released his hind end on the other side too. So I'm just going to let him process, have a little think about that. See if he's got any more releasing to do. And if not, I'm just going to bring him round towards the camera a little bit more and show you a bit of the hind end exercises that you can do as well. So, what I'm looking at now is just starting to release around the hind end and down the hamstring. So a lot of horses, looks like that on the camera anyway, are quite tight down the hamstrings, especially if they've got any issues in the SI or equally in the hocks. They compensate a lot and hold through the hamstrings, through the glutes. So these areas can get really quite tight and restricted, and if that happens again, it's going to create issues. They're not going to be able to push properly from behind. It's going to be quite laborious having someone riding, so making sure these areas are nice and soft. You can see Joey is nice and soft, he's not reactive, but that's good. I'm just going to show you a few exercises to do anyway. So first thing again we want to do is just make sure they're happy with us being around the hind end. And if they are, all I'm going to do is come again, a nice soft hand, coming down the hamstring, and then anywhere that I'm feeling, I'm just going to gently roll down and out. And going down and out. Really slow, really gentle. And this is just asking him, feeling for yourself how the hamstrings are feeling. And if there is any tightness, it's just allowing a little bit of that release. And then you'll see my other hand is up here on the wing of the pelvis. And I'm just going to get a little push. And I don't know if you can see, what I'm doing is I'm coming under here, under the tail, just grabbing hold of the little butt cheek, holding the wing, so that little bony area that you can feel on the side, and what I'm doing is I'm pushing away with my left hand, pulling towards me with my right. Again, it's a very subtle movement, just getting a little bit of twist through the pelvis. Good. All I'm going to do is just get hold of the top of the tail, and exactly the same as we were doing with the withers, I'm now just rocking the weight on his back legs. So from left to right, exactly the same thing. So you can't really see his head on the video. I'm looking for the same sort of things. I'm looking for that softening of his eye, the change in his breath, maybe the lowering of his head, and also just the movement through his body. Can he rock from side to side quite easily? Does it feel like there's any restriction or tightness from left to right? Or does he feel like he's actually been able to shift his weight relatively easily without too much trouble? Good. And then all I'm going to do is, now we feel like this area is softened a little bit, just coming over these big muscles, nice and gently, and just rubbing up towards the spine, backwards and forwards. And this is just really increasing blood flow, getting any lymphatic drainage going, getting the circulation going, so any inflammation that there might be anywhere in there, we're just really helping to get rid of all of that and get them all nice and warm before we start to ride. So hopefully that gives you a nice little routine you can do just before riding. It shouldn't take too long at all, maybe between 5 and 10 minutes, so you can add it into part of your grooming routine just before tacking up. But it'll give you a really nice view of how your horse is feeling before getting in the saddle. So which side do they feel tighter on? Is it always the same? Does it change? Is the pole the tightest area? Is it the hind end? Is it the back? Is it the neck? And all these little exercises are not only going to help you understand your horse a bit better and maybe understand why things feel the way they do under saddle, but also just doing these little exercises every day or every other day, or maybe just twice a week, once a week, however often you want to do them, The more you do them, the more you're going to feel that release and that improvement in the way your horse is feeling in their body, and then hopefully under saddle as well.